Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for clicking on my podcast. I am Catie Brannon, and this is Tea Time True Crime with Catie, where we talk all true crime, which I have a surprise for you guys. I'm going to start talking about spooky stories. Yes! And somebody mentioned that they want an ASMR. Now, my thing is, ASMR, you guys, it puts me to sleep. Like when I'm literally whispering and trying to make people go to sleep, I get tired. And I know that sounds funny, but it's the truth. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. This story is not for the faint of heart. It is a high-profile case. This case was a case suggestion by my friend Zach. Thank you, Zach, very much for the suggestion. And also, weirdly, this horrible, I don't even know. It's a lot, okay? I'm going to be talking about a woman that is well known, but I'm going to dive deeper in her past a little bit. Not that there's an excuse for what she did, but you guys got to stick around. But trigger warning, I'm talking about small children. Welcome again, guys. Good morning, good evening, good everything, okay? All the good vibes, even though we're about to talk about something horrific. Now, as you can see, I have some merch. Yes, I am wearing the hoodie, Tea Time True Crime with Catie. It is awesome. The design is from Celia Kakowski, and I absolutely am obsessed. I'm going to have a screenshot of what it exactly looks like. The website on the back of this hoodie says Tea Time True Crime with Catie in this really bright yellow. I'm super excited about it. Check out the description. I really appreciate it. People have been asking me about merch and I got it. So, appreciate you guys. We are we're coming soon to our 100th episode. I need to do something big, okay? So I'm trying to figure out what to do. So if you guys could leave comments below what you think I should do for the 100th episode, that would be awesome. Because, we got a little time. I believe this is my 82nd podcast, but we're approaching 100 very quickly. The earrings I'm wearing are Moxie Mint. If you guys see that in the description below, that is sold by Leah Foster. She is the bee's knees, the coolest cat, and she's a sweetheart. So definitely check it out. These earrings were $5, and they're not hurting my ears at all. See, I'm just turn it. Yeah, I have very sensitive ears. So anything I put in it, I would be like, ow, ow. No, they're cute. They're fashionable. Do it. But yeah, guys, check out this site. I really appreciate it. I guess that's the shout out, Moxie Mint, and also me having merch. If you want to know or see something else, let me know down in the comments below. I love when you guys interact with me and comment. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys listening. Or watching. Hello. Hope you like my look. It's a little bold today. If you are listening, I am wearing this awesome green lipstick. Usually not a very green lipstick person, but I was just feeling it today. And I did a really cool halo middle look with some shimmer and black shadow with some cat eye. You know how I always do the cat eye, okay? You know what I'm saying, Yeah, so I'm feeling fierce. Let's do this. And let's make sure this woman never gets out of prison, okay? Yeah, I'm going to go there. I'm going to say that right off the bat. I know this lady did not get life in prison, and I know why, and I'll talk about why, okay? But no, she does not deserve to see the light of day. So if you're wondering who I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about Susan Lee Vaughn, which you guys probably all know her. Susan Smith. Yes, I'm going to take you guys back to 1994. But I'm going to take you back farther and talk about when she was born, okay? Susan Lee Vaughn was born September 26th, 1971. And yes, that makes her a Libra. And you guys, she is every sense Libra in this as a person. I'm sorry. I was I'm a Venus Libra, and I'm a Mercury Libra, okay? So I'm not trying to damage Libras, okay, and I have Libras as friends, but Libras are supposed to be flaky, very, promiscuous, very loving, all about love, but I don't think Susan was about love. I think she was all about manipulation. That's just my 2 cents, but you let me know what you think down below. She was born in Union, South Carolina, 1971. She did have a rough childhood, okay? But again, if you guys know Susan Smith, that does not excuse her actions, but I do want to say she did have a rough childhood. She did. She was raised with married parents that did love each other, but then they turned violent with one another. And after the violence, there came divorce. Susan was only 6 years old when her father took his own life. And that is something that would affect Susan to this day. You know, that's awful. I cannot imagine. Now, her mother quickly married her stepfather, Beverly. Yes, I know I said Beverly, but we're going to call him Bev, B-E-V. Now, her stepfather started molesting her when she was young. Yeah, I know, sexual abuse already. Now, the sexual abuse would actually go on for a very long time. So long, in fact, I read that it happened 2 months before the demise of her children. Yeah, I know. What? I know. And you're wondering, well, is it consensual that time? My argument, even though he says it was consensual, I think when she was young, that definitely was not consensual. But again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know why she kept going back to him, or he just was a big manipulator. You know what I'm saying? Like she is. So Susan grew up in like kind of a wealthy family. I mean, they weren't like rich, you know what I'm saying? But they were pretty well off. And, you know, she was quite intelligent. In her teenage years, she worked at the Winn-Dixie, which I know is like a big grocery store chain. That reminds me of like a Harris Teeter or like a Randall's, you know, all my Texas people. Randall's, okay? So it's huge. Now, she got promoted as bookkeeper only when she worked for a month at the Winn-Dixie. But people had her, you know, had their suspicions, okay? They heard that she was pretty much on her knees. Yeah, I'm keeping it real. That she pretty much slept away, like slept around, and people said that wasn't a rumor. She was known to be very, very promiscuous. And when I talk about her lifeline of partners and how many partners she even has today, it's pretty wild how like sensual this well, I don't want to say sensual. Again, I think it's sexual. I think it's a manipulation tactic. So she was sleeping with a married man while working at the Winn-Dixie. All right. But then she started seeing David Smith. David Smith was something like a friends with benefits until she got pregnant. Yeah, she got pregnant, and David Smith at the time when they started seeing each other, he was already like betrothed to someone else. Yes, he was engaged. I know. She fears, okay? She fears. I hear you, all you internet people saying how hot she is and still how hot she is, and I'm like, good God, looks are not everything. Remember, they fade, okay? Just to let you know, so fall in love with the soul because that will not change. All right, sorry, I'm going on a tangent here. Now, when she met David Smith, she was still messing around, but she really kind of fell hard for David, and she got pregnant. She got pregnant with Michael. Now, they were in their late teens about this time, maybe 19 or 20 years old, and so when she got pregnant, what do you think they decided to do? They decided to get married. One big problem, though, okay? Now, her family did not accept David. No, David was not good enough for her family. He did not make enough money. So, her family wanted her to marry a man, like a wealthy man, like that was well off, because I guess that's where she came from. You know, that's what she needs to be. But, you know, David was not like that. You know, he wasn't a wealthy man. So they got married, okay, but their marriage was doomed from the start, you guys. I mean, doomed. Now, I know there's 2 times what do you say, you guys? It takes two to tango, right? Well, during the marriage between David Smith and Susan Smith, there was extramarital affairs. Even David wasn't innocent in this one, you guys, which kind of surprised me. What? He just seemed like a good old boy who, a good old country boy, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to take care of his lady. But since she wasn't touching him for God knows how long, I don't know, maybe a week or 2 days. I don't know. I'm just, speculating here, okay? But he says because she didn't give him attention and grew distant from him, he started seeing somebody else. Wow. Susan she was not okay with that at all. But I don't know when the affairs both started, but they did end up cheating on one another. She started cheating on her husband with someone that worked in a textile kind of center. Now, I don't want to do exact names because these are real places. If you want to do your own research, you are welcome to, okay? But these are real people. Most of the people who are involved in these true crimes are alive today, so I want to give respect to the people, okay? I am going to use the names of Tom Finley because everybody knows that name. But Tom Finley was basically the boss's son of the textile place she was working at. She was basically like a secretary. She left Winn-Dixie and got like a better job after having her child. And yeah, so I'm not sure when the affair started. Again, the timelines are wonky, but she did end up having 2 children with David, and they were the cutest. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even, okay? I can't. The first one that was born was Michael. So Michael Daniel Smith was born October 10th, 1991, and her other son, Alexander Tyler Smith, was born August 5th, 1993. So you have an adorable Leo and you have an adorable Libra, okay? So, you have Susan cheating, you have David cheating. It's just no bueno. Now, they say that actually it was, no, it's not 100% in stone because I've tried to figure out who asked for the divorce. Some sources say that she asked for the divorce. Other sources say that David did, because as soon as he heard her flirting on the phone with her coworker, Tom Finley, he was like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'm out. Well, Tom Finley, if I'm saying it wrong, forgive me, but I don't think I am, but who knows? So this guy, he was like a playboy, you guys. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Now, is that against the law? No. Is that immoral? Yeah, you be the judge. So Tom, like I said, he was not interested in like a long-term relationship with Susan. He was just saying that, she's pretty much like not for him in a way. Yeah. So much so that, he didn't want children, and she had 2 children of her own. So he realized, even though they're good kids, I still don't want children. Now, they think this is what set the motion for what she did next. But again, we don't know. Susan claims that she was out of her mind at the time, which honestly, you had to be to do what she did. I swear. Like, I can't even comprehend what she did. All right, guys, the tea I'm drinking is like some kind of grape tea. It's a little cold because, I'm wearing a hoodie and it's in the summer, so I get, hot easily. So I'm having a cold tea today in my Devil's Backbone Brewing Company rainbow cup. I love it, love it. And it's like it's kind of like, it's very, very sweet. It's like a grape flavor with like sugar, and I put some like ice in it and a little bit because it's pretty sugary, you guys. I don't want to have a lot of sugar. Believe it or not, I love sugar, but a lot of sugar is pretty bad. Anyways, I'm going to have another sip. Oh yeah, that is delicious. So I'm going to bring you guys to the day. okay? So already, if we backtrack, we have Susan Smith, who has been assaulted and abused and had complete trauma when she was a child and from teenage. But it seems like to get attention from men, she would have to be on her knees or do sexual favors to get any kind of, I feel like, not like just attention, but like anyone to hear her, I guess. I guess that's the same thing as attention. My thinking, too, is that she was very disliked by other women. They were either jealous of her because, I don't know about you, but when I act a fool, or, you know, my girlfriends will be the first one to be like, girl, why did you do that with him? Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? She seemed to not have a voice of reason. She seemed to not have female friends. So she always gravitated towards the men. And the men, in her words, she says that, you know, they manipulate her. Which, okay, I can kind of see that when you're a kid, yes. But when you keep using that, like, oh, wow, if I do this, they will do this for me. Now, if you still have that mentality as an adult, that is called manipulation. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know, but isn't that, manipulation, you guys? Because I feel like that's pretty close to it. So, not only she is, like, sleeping with Tom, you guys, you will be like, what? She started sleeping with Tom's dad. Yes, I know. What? Yeah. Not good at all. And I looked this guy up, you guys. Now, I don't know if it is the correct Tom Finley because he doesn't go by that name anymore. He goes by some kind of different name. He's like a graphic artist. Again, I don't know if it's the same guy, but if it is, I'm sure he's went on with his life, but I really don't think he should be the blame to do what she did. People did blame him because of what he wrote in a letter, which the police did find. Which, I mean, he kind of, he gave it to her straight in the letter. That's definitely true. I'll read the letter later if you want, guys. It's kind of a long one. But yeah, so he's still alive and he's thriving. So he's doing pretty good for himself. If it's really him, he has like a very impressive Instagram. He's a graphic artist. I hope this is the right guy. If not, I'm sorry, dude, but you're still getting press for your channel or your Instagram. Welcome. So he's good. But after what happened when the truth came out about what happened to her children, Tom left the business. And like I said, he quit that year in 95 and went and became a graphic artist. Apparently he's pretty respected too, so all power to you, dude. Now, again, Susan, she fell head over heels for this Tom guy. I mean, can't eat, can't sleep, reach for the stars, World Series kind of stuff, okay? And he was just a friends with benefits. It was just a girl that was there. They had conversation. She gave it up, and she would give it up a lot. So he kept her around. But it's sad, though, because, you know, she's a single mom at the time with 2 children. And she's messing with these men and his father. So I'm like, why the heck would he want to be with you if you're sleeping with the dad? Like, that is what? That's just, I'm sorry, like, what? Yeah. So, October 25th, 1994, the nation was shocked. And I swear it was like the same exact time as the O.J. Simpson trial. So, you know, America, the tension was high. But when this happened, where, you know, this woman, Susan Smith, went to a neighbor's house, okay, and saying, call the police, because she said that she was carjacked by a, again, guys, I don't like to say people's skin color, ethnicities, because to me it doesn't matter. We're all beautiful. We're all rainbows, okay? But for this crime, I have to say that she said it was a black man who carjacked her. And her kids, her 2 children, were still in the vehicle. Of course, when this happened, press conference went haywire, okay? Haywire. And the police were looking everywhere for this black male, and they were trying to find him. And that is just despicable because there was no carjacking. And there was no black man who, like, threatened her and her children's lives. She made it up. Yeah. I know. It's just like a type of evil, you guys, that I just don't understand. Now, but she went and told the police and her neighbors, and they were all scared. They were all looking for these two little boys. It was like a huge press conference. You can find it on YouTube. I'm trying to get videos on here to show you, but I'm getting better at editing, you guys. And remember, I do it myself. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that next, but it is on YouTube. I will link the descriptions below so you can watch her, because she's basically like, where are my babies? Bring them back, but there's not a tear shed. Like, I don't know about you, but if my child was missing, I would be a blubbering mess. I would be shaking. I would be inconsolable. Like, I wouldn't even function if I had a child. That's just me. And apparently a lot of other mothers feel the same way. Like, they're like, how are you not crying? Like, there's something up. Now, in that time, in 1994, you guys, I was a little girl. And this is a wild story, but that's how I knew, like, I've always had, I guess, a gift, as people would say, is my grandmother had a real big gift. So I remember as a little girl watching television and my mom and my grandmother being there, and Susan Smith is on TV, saying what happened to her kids and, like, where are they, and talk about the carjacking and everything. My grandmother looked at the TV and pointed at her and was like, she did it. And I remember my mom was like, what? There's no way. She's a mother. Why would she do that? But 9 days later, who confessed? Susan Smith. Yeah. One thing I want to say that I am so happy for is that when she wrongfully accused anybody else, whether, I don't like to talk about skin tones. It's awkward, okay? It's very, very awkward because, we all are one. But the fact that she actually said a black guy did it and the police actually had someone in custody and they did their job and they went through everything and they're like, there's no way this guy did it. Let him go. Now, what happens if somebody was wrongfully accused, right? And no one thinks about that. I mean, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, that this guy was wrongfully accused for the 2 deaths of this woman, okay, this white woman, okay, and he would still be in prison to this day. Or in fact, he'd probably be killed in prison. See, like, that just upsets me to no end, that, like, you literally lied and try to blame it on somebody else. And the police actually had someone in custody. But thank God someone did their job. Yeah, I know. I had no idea, you guys. I was researching and they did have someone in custody. I know, but they let him go because they're like, this story is not adding up. So they brought Susan again and they started realizing things were not adding up, okay? And I'll tell you what it was. The first thing they noticed, that Susan Smith was so excited to be on TV. Yes, like, oh, I'm going to be on TV, just really, really excited. And, the police are like, wow, I know you want to find your kids, but why are you that excited to be on TV? First of all, like I said, you would be a nervous wreck. And then they noticed she's talking, she's looking down, and she's saying what's happening and saying, bring my boys back. I want my babies, all that. And they realized, like I said, no tears. No tears. And they explained, well, where did this carjacking happen, So there is an intersection in South Carolina. Now, they knew she was lying because apparently, okay, I don't live there, but apparently you gotta have another vehicle there to be on the other side of the road to cross the other. Okay, so it's hard to explain. I'm not good at explaining this. Forgive me. I'll have like a little diagram here or something. But she said she was stopped at a stoplight. Okay? She was stopped at a stoplight. And then all of a sudden, this guy came, opened her door, got her out, and she goes, "Oh my God, my children." And he went in and just drove off with the kids. Okay? And the police thought, okay, well, you also said there was no other car there. Because they were asking how many vehicles were there. Because this is like 9 o'clock at night, okay? This is dark time in South Carolina. So the police were like, in order for that light to change, you gotta have someone there on the other side of the intersection. And when she said there was nobody there, how the heck did the light change? Yeah, something that trivial sparked everything. Like, sparked. Now, she confessed 9 days later. I know. And the police were absolutely stunned. Stunned. And she told them what happened, and they had the look of like they just saw a horrific movie. Because in this time, you guys, no one has ever been really this brutal. Now, there has been, sadly, in the 80s, like, there was Diane Downs. I think Andrea Yates was in the 90s. And these are horrible mothers that, you know, killed their children. But there is a different set of circumstances for why this happened. Now, Susan, the way she's very promiscuous and she's traumatized, doctors would say that she has borderline personality disorder. And she is dependent personality disorder, which I would definitely agree. But what they don't agree with, people with borderline personality disorder do not kill their children. They do not. She had like this self-deprecating one because there's all different kinds of range for mental illness. So it is very, very rare for a woman to do what she did, especially watch it happen. I know, guys, I'm about to place you in the scene. Take a drink of water, give yourself a hug. I'm going to describe what happened to Alex and Michael. October 25th, 1994. Police believe that the letter they found when they finally found their bodies, that the letter is the reason for why she did what she did. Now, remember in the beginning of the podcast, I told you that he didn't want children. Pretty much, I mean, it said a lot more in the letter, but that was like the main thing they focused on. Now, what is so horrifying, and I found these details, excuse me, I'm trying not to get, this is so upsetting. Whew. Okay. So, these innocent children, these little boys, I know that she had, she wanted to kill herself when she was early. I know, I forgot to tell you that, sorry. She's tried to commit suicide when she was younger, probably because of the abuse and everything. Well, she wanted to kill herself that night, okay? She just wanted to end her life. So her plan was that I'm going to kill me and my children because I don't want my children to grow up without a mother. I'm sorry, what? Yes. She says that she did not want to kill her children and she was going to, she didn't want any of this to happen, but she wanted to die with her children, but that's not how it happened. So, while she was driving at 9 o'clock at night, the little babies were sleeping in their car seats, still strapped in. Yes, they were sleeping, okay? Now, as they were sleeping, Susan said she's never been to this lake. I don't know why, but she went to this lake that night. I don't know if she said, there's like a psychosis or something. Who knows? But remember, it's 9 o'clock at night, and her lights are still on. Her headlights, her tail lights, was still on. Now, she was in the vehicle, and what she did was there was a boat ramp going into the lake. The car was still running, and she started to slowly submerge herself in the lake. She is in the vehicle and her 2 sleeping children, okay? Now, as she started to submerge, because she put it in neutral, all of a sudden, she got the neutral and put it to a brake, and she got out of the vehicle. And the vehicle was slowly going into the water. Yep. And she stood outside, and she said she screamed and's like, "Oh my God, somebody help my babies." It took 6 minutes for that car to fully submerge into the lake. By the time the bodies were found, I believe 10 days later, it was so horrible. Like, the investigators to this day cannot get that image out of their mind. Okay? If you want to hear it, hear it. But I'll let you know, since I know. The 2 little boys, one little hand was found on the window. It was found on the window. And the 2 little boys were holding hands when they were found. I'm sorry, what? Yeah. And this woman is supposed to get out this year, November 4th, 2024? How could you be so callous? I just don't understand it. So yeah, she let those little babies drown. When you have so many people out there that would give those children a better home, give to the ex-husband, because to this day, this happened in 1994, okay? So 30 years later, the husband, oh my God, David, he's still angry. He has chosen to try to let it go. You know, like I read a couple things, but he still thinks about his little boys every day. He did end up remarrying, you guys, but there was an affair, and yeah, he says he's a great father, but a lousy husband. I know, that's what he said. I read an article, and I was like, okay. But he ended up having a boy and a girl, and he said that they are the ones that keep him going. But yeah, this crime, as you can tell, guys, it shocked the nation, how someone could be so cold watching your children about to be drowned. I know. Insane, right? Exactly. Well, at the trial, the judge took pity on Susan. Now, I would think she would have 30 years to life without the possibility of parole, but as I said, guys, she's up for parole in a few months. I know. I'm thinking because of all the abuse she went through. She actually had her stepfather, who literally abused her when she was a little girl, and then talk about how they had consensual sex shortly before the murder of her children. What? He said he blamed himself for how Susan is. Yeah, I know. What? Yeah. So I'm guessing after that testimony, the judge was like, okay, 30 years. And remember, she was young. No excuse, but she was 22 years old. So if she gets out, she'll just be in her 50s. And everybody is posting her picture all over online, saying how hot she is. And someone commented like, she should get out in her 70s or 80s, but not in her 50s. Because she's very manipulative. Because you guys, if you thought she would have changed at all, oh, no. No. Since she's been in prison all this time, okay, she's had drug charges. Now, they say that she hasn't gotten in trouble for a while, but it doesn't say how long. I don't have her personal records, but I did read that she did get in trouble. She was not the model citizen, of prison, okay? She didn't even go and get more education at all, but she did run like a club or something like that. She did work. I think she worked in bookkeeping, but again, she didn't further her education. She claims that she wants to go visit her son's graves to receive closure, which nobody agrees with that at all. They want her to go to hell, pretty much. There is no sympathy towards this woman at all. Like, it is insane how much this. I mean, the Catie situation back in Florida, Casey Anthony case was bad. No, I think it's like on par. people really want Susan to fry or do the same thing that, you know, she did to her kids, which, I mean, a Hammurabi Code, anybody? Is this... Yeah, no. I mean, I think the little boys were absolutely scared, and I think the energy is still there because... Okay, let me backtrack. So when she was in prison, not only she was caught with drugs, okay, I guess that's how you deal, but she was having sexual relations with the guards. Yes, they said that she was manipulating them, which at the same time, guys, it takes two to tango, okay? You know, and she has a girlfriend in prison. So this lady gets around and she knows how to manipulate. And she has like 6 admirers of pen pals, probably more than that. She was actually engaged recently, which people who want to marry, like, you know, women who murdered their children, that's a whole nother level of depravity, I feel. Sorry, I'm not trying to judge. I mean, a little bit. But, I mean, come on. So she was in love with these pen pals, but the guy did not know she was talking to anybody else, but then he found out, and he was like, there's no way we can get married now. I know. It's nuts. So she has all these admirers. Like, it's insane. So I read in 1996... This is so haunting, okay? The boat ramp was still there. Now, there was some kind of party or get-together. It was a beautiful, fun time with, like, a family or something, and there was a dad and children and a mom. Now, the dad was driving, and the mom got out, okay? And they were on the boat ramp, and everything seemed to be fine, okay? It was on park. The brake was parked. And then out of nowhere... the car started, like, drifting slowly back in the lake. And the wife is like, oh my God. So she is trying to get back in the car, get her husband out, get her children out, and save them. She ended up drowning. Then somebody at the gathering went in, dove in to save everybody else. They end up drowning. That day, 7 people drowned in that lake. So after that happened, you guys, South Carolina was like, destroy the damn boat ramp. Yeah. So the lake is still there today. I've seen videos of it. I haven't been to South Carolina in a while. But when I see the videos and I see people that go travel blogs and stuff like that, and I see the lake, I feel the energy. It's a very sad lake, and I know it sounds silly, but there's definitely energy in it today. I mean, like, that's insane, right? Like, that car wasn't doing anything wrong, but then it just slowly just went in the water, and you had those people, you know, try to save the family, and they end up drowning too? That is nuts. Like, that just gives me the chills, just the chills. Yeah, so she is up for parole, you guys, November 4th, 2024. Do you think she should get out? Yes or no? I'm praying no, because what she did was just, I just can't wrap my head around it. But yeah, that is the messed up story. I usually don't talk about the main person. You know, I don't believe in giving notoriety to killers, you know. But she is someone who we never want to happen again. But she's very rare, you know, being borderline and, like, you know, being intelligent how she was. No one ever saw that coming. Perhaps she didn't even either. I mean, she just basically says that, you know, she made a mistake and, you know, she tried to kill herself. But, you know, it's just... I just want to know, do you really think she really tried to kill those children? I mean, she killed those children, those poor things, because a guy didn't want children? She says that's not it. She said that she went through some kind of psychosis, and she doesn't know what happened. But the fact is, when you stand there and you submerge, and your children are the cutest when they're sleeping. I don't know about you, but... kids are just adorable. So while they're sleeping, and then can you imagine when the car hits the water and the kids are waking up and they're yelling for their mommy? Like, what? Yeah, I know. I'm very Yeah, she should never get out of prison. I don't care, you know, what happened to her. I know it's messed up. You know, people go through trauma. People go through so much abuse. But it doesn't mean that they are, like, killing their children. You know, there's people that have that excuse for her and think that she should live a life. But her own family, now, they won't even take her in. So it's just not looking good, just to let you know. Because I didn't know this, but if you are getting out of prison and you don't have a place to live, like a stable place to live, like family or friends, you're not getting out of prison. Yeah, so fun fact right there. There's an FF. So thank you so much for listening or watching. I really appreciate you. If you are fascinated by true crime, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and definitely like this video. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Thank you so much for watching, and definitely watch the next video on the playlist. Bye.